Good evening and welcome. Close your eyes and let the heavy mantle of the day slide from your shoulders. You are no longer bound by the ticking of clocks or the weight of your worries. Imagine, instead, that you are standing at the edge of a world made of soft shadows and silver light, a realm where the air tastes of crushed mint and ancient rain. Here, in the heart of the aether, the ground is a deep emerald velvet that swallows every sound, and the only rhythm that remains is the slow, tectonic breathing of the forest itself. Ahead of you, a pale mist parts like a silken curtain, inviting you to step into a sanctuary where time has finally come to a beautiful, rhythmic halt.
You are standing at the edge of a great, silent forest. The trees are tall and ancient, their branches reaching up like quiet prayers toward a sky that never fully darkens. The air is cool and thin, carrying the faint, crisp taste of mountain rain and crushed wild mint. It feels refreshing as it enters your lungs, cooling your chest with every slow, deliberate breath. A thick silver mist hangs between the massive trunks of the oaks. The mist is heavy and slow-moving, swirling in lazy patterns that look like white silk caught in a gentle tide. It obscures the path ahead, creating a soft, blurry world where only the nearest trees are visible. You feel a sense of profound safety here, as if the mist is a curtain drawn between you and the busy world. Step forward slowly and feel the air shift as you move. The mist does not resist you. It parts with a quiet, fluid grace, clearing just enough space for your next step. It feels like the forest itself is recognizing your presence and welcoming you into its deep inner sanctum. There is no sound of birds or wind, only the muffled silence of the silver haze. As you walk, the light begins to change, turning from a dull gray to a luminous, pearly white. The mist seems to hold the light, glowing from within like a soft, frosted lamp. It creates a dreamlike atmosphere where time has no meaning and distance is just a soft suggestion. Your shoulders begin to drop, releasing the tension you didn't even know you were carrying. The deeper you go, the more the outside world fades into a distant memory. The sounds of life, the worries of the day, and the weight of your tasks are all left behind at the forest's edge. Here, there is only the cool air and the silver curtain of the mist. You are moving into a space of pure transition, leaving the noise for the stillness. The trunks of the oaks are vast, covered in a bark that feels like weathered stone. They have stood here for centuries, watching the mist rise and fall in a timeless rhythm. You can feel their strength, a solid and grounding energy that anchors the forest floor. It is a comforting strength, one that tells you that you are protected and held. Your feet move with a natural, effortless pace, as if the path is choosing itself. You don't need to look for markers or signs. The parting mist is all the guidance you require. The atmosphere is becoming thicker, more saturated with a peaceful, heavy energy. It is the kind of quiet that feels like a physical presence wrapping around you like a soft cloak. The scent of the mint grows stronger, mixing with the earthy, deep aroma of damp wood. It is a grounding fragrance, one that pulls your focus away from your thoughts and into your senses. You are becoming more aware of the air on your skin and the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Everything is slowing down, matching the leisurely drift of the silver fog. You take one more step, and the mist begins to thin at the edges, revealing a soft green glow. The gateway is behind you now, and the heart of the forest is beginning to open up. You are standing in the threshold of a place where magic and sleep are the only laws. The transition is complete. You have arrived in the quiet. Breathe in the silver light one last time before you move forward. Feel it filling your mind with a soft white blankness, clearing away the clutter. The mist remains at your back, a gentle barrier that keeps the world away. You are ready to walk the path that lies ahead, deep within the green.
The ground beneath your feet is deep and emerald, a living carpet that stretches out into the dim light. It is a thick, lush layer of moss, untouched by the sun and nourished by the eternal dampness of the mist. As you press your foot down, the moss gives way with a springy, cushioned resilience. It feels like walking on a cloud that has settled upon the earth. The moss is cool to the touch, a refreshing sensation that radiates up through the soles of your feet. It is damp with a fine dew that never evaporates, keeping the greenery vibrant and soft. You feel the moisture as a gentle, soothing presence, grounding you with every step. The color is a deep, soothing green that rests your eyes and settles your mind. Every footfall is silent, completely absorbed by the thick, organic padding of the earth. There is no crunch of dry leaves, no snap of a twig, only the muffled sound of stillness. You are moving like a ghost through the trees, leaving no trace and making no noise. This silence is a gift, allowing you to hear the quietest whispers of your own breath. You are walking on velvet, a texture so fine it feels like a luxury of nature. The path winds between the trees, following the natural curves of the land. It is a path that was not made by tools, but by the soft passage of time and gentle feet. You feel a connection to everyone and everything that has ever walked this way. The emerald green seems to glow with its own inner light, as if the moss has stored the moonlight. It lights the way with a soft, neon hum that is gentle on the senses. You don't need to strain your eyes to see. The path reveals itself in a sequence of glowing patches. It is a guiding light that asks for nothing but your presence. With each step, you feel yourself moving deeper into a profound state of peace. The rhythmic nature of your walking becomes a meditation, a slow-motion dance with the earth. Your muscles begin to loosen, and the heaviness in your legs feels like a comfortable anchor. You are not walking toward a goal. You are simply walking to be. The air near the ground is still and heavy with the scent of wet earth and ancient growth. It is a rich, fertile smell that reminds you of life in its simplest, most resting form. You find yourself slowing your pace even further, savoring the sensation of the moss. There is no hurry here, no reason to reach the end of the path. The trees on either side of the path seem to lean in, their branches draped in the same emerald moss. It hangs in long, soft tresses, swaying slightly as you pass by. Everything is interconnected, a web of green and silver that holds the forest together. You are a thread in that web, moving through the pattern with ease. The path begins to level out, leading you toward a wide, open glade.
The moss here is even deeper, flowing over the roots of the trees like a green river. You feel a sense of expansion in your chest, a widening of your internal space. The path is preparing you for the sights and sounds that are yet to come. Take a final, slow step on the velvet path and feel the stillness settle into your bones. The ground is your foundation, and it is soft and kind. You are supported by the earth, carried by the moss, and guided by the silence. The journey deeper into the heart of the aether continues.
High above you, the canopy of the forest forms a vast and intricate ceiling. The branches of the ancient oaks and birches interlace so tightly they look like a single solid structure. In the twilight light, the leaves appear translucent, shimmering like plates of frosted glass. They catch the pale light from above and scatter it in 1,000 different directions. The leaves do not rustle or clatter as they would in a mundane wood. Instead, they sway in a slow, synchronized dance, moved by a current of air too light to be felt on the skin. It is a liquid movement, like kelp swaying in a gentle underwater tide. You find your eyes following the slow rise and fall of the green and silver boughs. This rhythmic motion is hypnotic, a visual lullaby that captures your attention and holds it softly. It mirrors the slow, steady rhythm of your own breathing, up and down, in and out. As the branches lift, you inhale the cool forest air. As they descend, you let your breath go. You are becoming synchronized with the life of the trees. Look up and watch the emerald light filter down through the layers of the canopy. It falls in long, soft shafts, like light passing through the windows of a great cathedral. The beams are filled with tiny floating specks of dust that sparkle like ground diamonds. They drift downward in slow spirals, eventually disappearing into the moss below. The light is a color that doesn't exist in the waking world, a mix of deep sea green and pale moon silver. It bathes everything in a soft, non-directional glow that erases all harsh shadows. Your vision becomes soft and unfocused, as if you are looking through a thin veil of silk. The world above is a masterpiece of light and shadow, constantly shifting and yet always still. There is a faint melodic hum that seems to emanate from the leaves themselves. It is a sound so low it is felt more than heard, a vibration that resonates in the center of your chest. It is the song of the forest, a symphony of growth and rest that has played for an eternity. The sound is steady and unchanging, a constant backdrop to the silence of the path. As you stand beneath the swaying leaves, you feel the vastness of the forest pressing down on you. It is not a heavy pressure, but a protective one, like a thick down comforter. The canopy is a shield against the sky, keeping the secrets of the wood safe and warm. You are tucked away in a world that belongs only to the quiet and the dreaming. The air at this height is filled with the faint ozone of the upper atmosphere and the scent of sap. It is a clean, sharp smell that cuts through the heaviness of the moss and the earth. It provides a moment of clarity in the midst of the deep emerald haze. You feel a sense of perspective, a realization of how small and safe you really are. The branches overhead begin to thin slightly, allowing more of the silver light to pour through. The patterns on the ground shift and change, creating a moving mosaic of light on the green moss.
You follow the patterns with your eyes, letting your mind wander into the shapes. Your thoughts are becoming as fluid and slow as the swaying of the leaves. The symphony continues, a timeless performance for an audience of one. The leaves, the light, and the rhythmic motion all work together to ease you further into the dark. You feel a deep gratitude for the trees and the shelter they provide. The world above is beautiful, and it is telling you to rest.
As you move further into the glade, the air grows heavy with a new and intoxicating fragrance. It is the scent of wild white lilies blooming in great silent clusters in the shadows of the ferns. The aroma is thick and creamy, a scent that feels like it has weight and substance. It fills the air until there is no room for any other thought. The lilies are tall and elegant, their petals curled back like the sleeves of a royal robe. They are a white so pure it seems to hum, standing out against the deep greens of the forest. In the twilight, they look like lanterns made of porcelain, glowing with a soft internal fire. They do not move, even when you pass close by, standing as still as statues. The fragrance is not sharp or floral in a traditional way. It is a sleepy, earthy sweetness. It carries hints of vanilla, honey, and the cold, damp scent of the earth. It is a blanket of scent, wrapping around your senses and muffling the world. Every time you breathe in, the sweetness fills your throat and settles in your heart. This scent acts as a natural sedative, a fragrance designed by the forest to induce calm. You can feel it working on your nervous system, smoothing out the jagged edges of your mind. The scent tells your body that there is no danger here, only the luxury of rest. Your eyelids begin to feel a little heavier, lulled by the constant sweet perfume. Inhale the sweetness deeply, letting it expand your lungs and soften your chest. Feel the fragrance moving through your bloodstream, carrying the peace of the lilies to every limb. Your hands feel loose and relaxed at your sides. Your jaw unclenches. The lilies are a gift of the earth, a medicine for the weary soul. Exhale the weight of the day, letting all your remaining worries drift away on your breath. As you breathe out, imagine the stress leaving you like a dark mist dissolving into the sweet air. The lilies absorb the darkness, neutralizing it with their own pure white light. You are being cleansed by the fragrance, made light and empty. The flowers seem to grow in a rhythmic pattern, following the curves of the stream and the roots of the trees. They create a sensory map of the glade, a path of scent that you can follow even with your eyes closed. You find yourself drifting toward the centers of the clusters, drawn by the intensity of the smell. In the heart of the lilies, the world is nothing but white and sweet. There is a soft, powdery quality to the air here, as if the lilies are releasing a fine mist of pollen. It sparkles in the emerald light, creating a haze of gold and white around the flowers. The dust is cool on your skin, a delicate sensation that feels like the touch of a phantom. Everything is becoming more sensory, more focused on the immediate moment. The scent of the lilies marks a transition into the deeper, more magical parts of the forest. It is the fragrance of the aether, the smell of the world where unicorns roam.
You are leaving the familiar sense of the pine and the earth behind. The world is becoming more mythic, more aligned with the stories of the stars. The fragrance lingers in your mind long after you have moved past the main clusters. It is a persistent, gentle reminder of the peace you have found in the glade. The white lilies remain in the shadows, their porcelain faces turned toward the moon. You carry their sweetness with you as you move toward the first glimmer of light.
Deep in the thicket ahead, where the shadows are the most dense, a spark of pure white appears. At first, it is so small and faint, you might mistake it for a trick of your tired eyes. It is a tiny pinprick of light that pulses with a slow, steady heartbeat. It sits in the darkness like a single diamond resting on a bed of black velvet. The spark is not like a flame. It does not flicker or dance with the heat of a fire. Instead, it is a soft, pulsing radiance that seems to come from within the air itself. The light expands and contracts, growing slightly brighter before fading back into a dim glow. It is a breathing light, a luminous expression of a life that is perfectly at rest. It begins to move, not with the hurried pace of a living thing, but with the drift of a low cloud. The light glides through the trees, passing through branches and ferns without a sound. It leaves a faint, glowing trail in its wake, a path of light that lingers for a few seconds before vanishing. You find your gaze locked onto the motion, mesmerized by the effortless fluidity. The first unicorn emerges from the shadows of the giant ferns, stepping into the open glade. It is more light than substance, a creature made of moonlight and ancient magic. Its presence changes the atmosphere of the forest, bringing a sense of holy stillness. The air seems to hum in its presence, a low-frequency vibration of pure peace. The unicorn is silent as a falling star, its hooves making no sound on the deep moss. It moves with a dignity that is both regal and incredibly gentle. There is no urgency in its movements, no sense of predator or prey. It is a being that exists outside the cycle of the world, a creature of the eternal now. As it moves into the center of the glade, the light from its body illuminates the surroundings. The green moss turns to silver, and the white lilies seem to lean toward the creature. The unicorn is the source of the forest's magic, the heart that pumps the silver mist. You feel a profound sense of awe, a quiet joy that fills the spaces in your mind. The unicorn stops in a patch of moonlight, its head held high and its mane flowing like liquid silk. It stands perfectly still, a statue of light carved from the substance of the aether. You can see the rise and fall of its chest, a slow and powerful rhythm. It is the most beautiful thing you have ever seen, a vision of purity and grace. The light from the unicorn is cool and soothing, a balm for your eyes and your spirit. It washes over you in gentle waves, carrying away the last vestiges of your fatigue. You feel a sense of lightness, as if the gravity of the world has lost its hold on you. In the presence of the unicorn, you are weightless and free. The creature doesn't seem to notice you, or perhaps it simply accepts your presence as part of the wood. There is no judgment in its silence, no demand for your attention. It simply is, and in its being, it creates a space where you can also simply be. The first glimmer has become a steady, radiant truth in the center of the dark.
Take a long, slow breath and let the image of the unicorn settle into your memory. The light, the motion, and the silence are all part of the same peaceful tapestry. You are standing in the presence of the mythic, and the world is very quiet. The journey into the silver heart of the aether has truly begun.
The creature's coat is the texture of spun silk, a surface so fine it seems to catch and hold the very air around it. It is not a flat white, but a living canvas of iridescent light that shifts with every micro-movement of its powerful muscles. In the dim emerald light of the forest, the coat shimmers with the delicate colors of a seashell's interior. You see faint ripples of rose quartz, pale sapphire, and the softest mint green dancing just beneath the surface. As the unicorn breathes, the light on its skin moves like oil on water, swirling in slow, hypnotic patterns. It is a vision of purity, a creature that appears to be made of light that has been pressed into a solid velvet form. The fur is so short and dense, it looks like a layer of fresh frost clinging to a winter branch. There is a luminous quality to it, as if the animal is not reflecting light, but generating it from deep within its marrow. You find yourself mesmerized by the way the shadows of the leaves play across this pearlescent hide. The shadows do not darken the coat, they simply turn the silver into a deeper, more resonant violet. It is a constant, quiet transformation, a reminder that in this wood, nothing is static and everything is soft. The coat looks warm and inviting, a texture that your mind imagines as the softest substance in existence. There is no dirt or blemish on this magnificent creature, as if the forest mist washes it clean with every step. It is unchanging, a timeless icon of grace that has looked exactly like this for 1,000 years. The sight of such perfection acts as a signal to your brain to let go of the imperfections of your own day. You are looking at the essence of calm, a physical manifestation of a quiet mind. The mane and tail are not like the hair of a common horse, but like strands of liquid starlight. They hang in heavy, shimmering locks that drift behind the unicorn as if it were moving underwater. Even in the absolute stillness of the glade, the mane seems to float, a cloud of silver threads that never tangle. It is a soft, weightless motion that draws your gaze and holds it with a gentle magnetic pull. As the unicorn turns its head, the light catches the curve of its neck, revealing a glow that is almost golden. It is a warm, honey-colored light that provides a beautiful contrast to the cool silver of the rest of its body. This warmth suggests a heart that is full of ancient, patient kindness. You feel a sense of kinship with the creature, a quiet bond formed in the shared silence. The purity of the white is so intense it begins to blur the edges of the unicorn's silhouette. It looks as though the animal is slowly dissolving into the surrounding mist, a dream that is half-formed. This softening of lines makes it easier for your eyes to relax, losing their sharp focus. The world is becoming a collection of soft glows and gentle textures. You imagine reaching out to touch that silken coat, feeling the incredible softness beneath your fingertips. The thought alone is enough to send a wave of relaxation through your arms and hands. You can almost feel the static tingle of the magic stored within those fine, pearly hairs. It is a cooling sensation, like dipping your hand into a basin of moonlight.
The unicorn stands as a testament to the beauty of being still and being pure. It does not need to run or hunt or prove its strength. Its mere existence is its purpose. You take this lesson into your own body, allowing yourself to simply exist in this moment. You are a witness to the pearl, and the pearl is peace. Breathe in the shimmering image of the unicorn's coat, letting the colors wash through your mind. The pinks, the blues, and the silvers are all notes in a visual song of rest. The creature is a beacon of tranquility, guiding you further away from the noise of the world. The coat of pearl is the armor of the dreaming soul.
The unicorn begins to move again, and you notice the deliberate, almost musical grace of its gait. Each step is a slow motion study in balance, as if the animal is navigating a world made of glass. The hooves are not dark and hard, but appear to be carved from the same pearly substance as the horn. They strike the deep moss with a sound that is less of a thud and more of a soft, resonant pulse. Thump. There is a long, intentional pause between each movement of its legs. The rhythm is much slower than a human heartbeat, a deep and ancient tempo that dictates the pace of the forest. You find your own steps falling into alignment with this sequence, moving only when the unicorn moves. Thump. Pause. The sound is a low-frequency vibration that you feel in the soles of your feet. This rhythm acts as a biological metronome, syncing your internal systems to the heartbeat of the aether. With every thump against the moss, a wave of grounding energy travels up through your legs. It anchors you to the earth, making you feel heavy, stable, and completely secure. The pauses between the steps are just as important as the sounds themselves. They are moments of total stillness. You listen for the sound, waiting for it with a sleepy kind of anticipation. The predictability of the rhythm is a comfort to your mind, which no longer has to search for patterns. The pattern is here, provided by the unicorn, and it is a lullaby of movement. It is a steady, mechanical kindness that simplifies the world into two states, motion and rest. The unicorn's legs move like heavy silk ribbons, flowing through the air with no resistance. There is no sound of joints clicking or muscles straining. The movement is entirely silent and fluid. It looks like the animal is floating just a fraction of an inch above the green moss. The grace of the walk is hypnotic, a visual expression of the word gentle. As the rhythm continues, the forest seems to pulse in time with the unicorn's hooves. The mist swirls in sync with the steps, and the glowing moss dims and brightens with each strike. You are part of a giant breathing machine of peace, a gear in the clockwork of the forest. The repetition is a key that unlocks the deeper chambers of your relaxation. Thump. The sound is becoming more muffled as the moss grows even thicker. It is now just a ghost of a sound, a memory of a heartbeat felt through a thick pillow. The pauses are becoming longer, the silence stretching out like a long, slow yawn. You are content to wait in the silence, knowing the next beat will eventually come. This rhythmic walking is the only activity in the world that matters right now. The complexities of your life are reduced to the simple physics of a foot touching the ground. Down and up, pressure and release.
It is a beautiful simplification of existence. You feel a sense of heavy drowsiness beginning to take hold of your limbs. The steady thump, pause is like a hand gently patting a child to sleep. It is a rhythmic reassurance that everything is okay, that you are safe, and that it is time to rest. The unicorn is leading you with its feet, and you are following with your heart. Listen one last time to the deep, resonant pulse of the unicorn's journey. It is the sound of time slowing down until it almost stops. The rhythm is a tether to the earth, and the earth is a bed of moss. The symphony of the hoofbeat is the final song of the waking mind.
Your gaze rises from the hooves to the crowning glory of the creature, its magnificent horn. It is a masterpiece of ivory and moonlight, a single elegant spiral that grows from the center of its brow. The horn is not a weapon, it is a conductor for the energy that flows through the aether. It glows with a faint gold warmth that seems to pulse with the same rhythm as the unicorn's heart. The spiral is perfect, a golden ratio carved into a physical form of light. As the unicorn moves its head, the horn carves slow, invisible patterns in the silver mist. It leaves behind a faint trail of glowing dust, a wake of starlight that hangs in the air like frozen smoke. The light is soft and golden, the color of a setting sun viewed through a heavy fog. This golden glow is the only warmth in the cool, silver-green world of the forest. It draws your eye like a hearth fire in a cold room, providing a sense of focus and direction. The light doesn't hurt your eyes, it invites them to linger on the gentle curves of the spiral. It is a hypnotic sight, a swirl of gold that seems to draw all your remaining thoughts into its center. As the unicorn grazes or tilts its head, the horn sheds tiny sparks of glitter into the air. These sparks are weightless, drifting downward with a slow, erratic grace like falling snow. They are the physical essence of the unicorn's magic, cooling the air as they descend. You watch a single spark as it floats toward the ground, following its journey until it vanishes into the moss. The light from the horn has a quality of silence to it, as if the glow itself is made of quiet. It illuminates the creature's face, casting soft shadows that emphasize the kindness in its eyes. The gold light is a promise of protection, a beacon that says you are in a sacred space. You feel a warmth spreading through your forehead, a relaxation of the muscles around your eyes. The spiral seems to hum with a very high, very thin vibration that you feel in the back of your mind. It is the sound of pure light, a frequency that clears away the static of the day. It is a cleansing sound, a mental wash that leaves your thoughts feeling bright and empty. You are being tuned to the frequency of the unicorn, becoming a vessel for its gold light. The glitter that falls from the horn begins to coat the surrounding ferns in a layer of gold dust. The forest is being transformed into a treasure chamber, a world of emerald and gold. Everything the light touches becomes more beautiful, more still, and more significant. You realize that you are also standing in that light, becoming part of the golden haze. The horn is the bridge between the physical world and the world of dreams. It points toward the stars even when the unicorn's head is lowered to the earth. It is a constant reminder of the infinite, the vast spaces of peace that lie beyond the trees.
Your mind follows the point of the horn, reaching out into the velvet dark of the sky. The movement of the light is like a slow-motion brushstroke across the canvas of your vision, gold on silver, light on dark. It is a visual meditation that requires no effort and no thought. You simply watch, and as you watch, you drift. The spiral of light is the last thing you see before the forest begins to blur. It is a golden thread that you can hold on to as you descend into sleep. The unicorn is the guardian of the light, and the light is your path. The horn is a star brought down to earth, and it is shining just for you.
The unicorn leads you to a wide circular clearing where a dark pond waits in perfect silence. The water is the color of obsidian, a deep and bottomless black that holds no ripples. It is so still, it looks like a sheet of black marble that has been polished to a mirror finish. The edges of the pool are lined with white stones that glow like fallen moons in the grass. The air around the pool is noticeably cooler, a pocket of deep, refreshing chill. It is a stillness that feels heavy and thick, as if the air itself is reluctant to move. There is no sound of running water or wind. The pool is a sanctuary of absolute quiet. You stand at the edge and feel the silence of the water entering your own heart. The unicorn approaches the edge of the pond with its characteristic slow brace. It lowers its head toward the dark surface, its golden horn reflecting in the black water. As its muzzle touches the liquid, you expect to see a ripple, a break in the perfection. But the water remains flat and undisturbed, accepting the unicorn without a single shiver. The pool is a place of deep reflection, both literal and spiritual. It represents the deepest parts of your mind, the places that are quiet and untouched by the world. As you look into the water, you feel your own internal turbulence settling down. The surface of your thoughts becomes as flat and as dark as the pond. The unicorn drinks slowly, its throat moving in a steady, rhythmic swallow. The sound is a soft, liquid gulp that is the only noise in the clearing. It is a primal, soothing sound that reminds you of the basic necessities of life. Everything is simple here: water, light, and the act of drinking. The blackness of the water is not frightening. It is a welcoming, velvet depth. It is the kind of darkness that you can sink into, a space where you can lose yourself completely. The pool of stillness is the center of the forest's soul. It is the place where all paths lead and where all journeys end in quiet. You are resting at the center of the world, and there is nothing else you need to do. The water is still, and so are you. As you look deeper into the black water of the pool, you realize it is not just reflecting the trees. In the heart of the pond, you see the stars of a different sky, one that belongs to the ether. These stars are larger and softer than the ones you know, glowing with a gentle liquid light. They do not twinkle with a sharp coldness. They pulse like slow silver hearts in the deep. The unicorn begins to move away from the edge of the starlit pool, its hooves creating that same silent, rhythmic pulse on the moss. It does not head back toward the dense thicket, but instead turns its graceful neck toward where you are resting on the moonstones. With a slow and deliberate pace, it approaches you, closing the distance until it stops only a few short feet away. The air between you and the creature begins to change, vibrating with an energy that is both powerful and incredibly gentle. You feel a wave of physical heat radiating from the unicorn's pearlescent body, a warmth that is unexpected in the cool forest air. It is not the searing heat of a fire or the sharp burn of the sun, but a deep, resonant glow, like a sun-warmed stone in the heart of winter. This warmth moves toward you in soft, invisible ripples, touching your face and chest with a comforting pressure. It feels like a heavy, heated blanket being draped over your shoulders by a kind and silent hand. The presence of the unicorn is massive, filling your entire field of vision with a shimmering white light. Yet, despite its size and the raw magic humming within it, there is no sense of intimidation or urgency in the air. You feel a profound safety, a realization that this creature is a guardian of the quiet, a protector of those who seek the dark. The warmth acts as a physical barrier, pushing away any stray thoughts of the cold outside world. As the warmth settles into your skin, you feel your muscles undergoing a final, deep release of tension. The warmth travels down your arms to your fingertips, making them feel heavy and tingling with a pleasant, sleepy weight. It moves down your spine, loosening each vertebra until you feel like you are melting into the smooth stone beneath you. Your body is becoming a vessel for this ancient, rhythmic heat, sinking deeper into the earth. The unicorn stands perfectly still, its breath creating a soft, golden mist that mingles with the warmth of its skin. You are now inside its circle of influence, a sacred space where time has ground to a complete and beautiful halt. There is a humming sound associated with this presence, a low-frequency drone that resonates in the center of your chest. It is the heart that has beaten for eons, a steady and unchanging anchor for your soul. You find yourself closing your eyes for a moment, simply to better feel the radiant heat against your eyelids. It is a golden darkness, a rich and heavy sensation that tells your brain it is okay to stop looking and start feeling. The warmth is a communication, a silent message of peace that requires no translation and no effort to understand. You are being held by the light, protected by the heat, and nurtured by the silence. The scent of the unicorn, clover, ozone, and sun-dried grass becomes more intense as it stands near you. It is a grounding fragrance that pulls you further into the physical reality of this magical moment. You realize that you have never felt more present and yet more detached from the worries of your life. The warmth of the presence is a fire that burns away everything but the now. The unicorn's shadow falls over you, a soft gray shape that provides a sense of enclosure and intimacy. Within this shadow, the gold light of its horn is even more brilliant, casting a honeyed glow over your hands. You are tucked away in a private alcove of the forest, a hidden room made of light and heat. The world could end outside these trees, and you would remain here, warm and safe. Every breath you take now feels like it is being shared with the creature standing before you. Inhale the warmth, exhale the last of the cold. Inhale the light, exhale the heavy shadows. You are becoming synchronized with the life force of the ether, a slow motion dance of energy.
The unicorn is the sun of this small world, and you are a planet basking in its glow. Take a final deep breath of the unicorn's warmth and let it settle in the very center of your bones. This heat will stay with you as you move deeper into the valley of sleep, a portable hearth for your journey. The presence is a promise of rest, a weight that is light as a feather and heavy as the earth. You are warm, you are safe, and you are profoundly at peace.
The unicorn slowly lowers its head, bringing its face level with yours. And for the first time, you look directly into its eye. It is a large, liquid orb the color of deep violet, flecked with gold and silver, like a miniature galaxy captured in glass. The eye does not blink with the startled frequency of a wild animal, but remains steady and open, watching you with an infinite patience. There is no fear in this gaze, no judgment, and no demand, only a deep, ancient knowing that defies words. As you hold this gaze, you feel as though the creature is looking through the layers of your identity, seeing the quiet core of who you are. It is a sensation of being completely understood, of having every secret and every sorrow acknowledged and then gently set aside. The violet eye is a mirror that reflects only your peace, ignoring the noise and the clutter of your daily mind. You feel a profound sense of relief, the weight of being someone dissolving into the violet light. The gaze acts as a tether, a silver cord that pulls your wandering consciousness back into the absolute present. You cannot think of the past or the future while locked in the stare of the ancient. The eye is too vast, too deep for anything but the now. It is like looking into a deep, still well, where the water is so clear you can see the very bottom of the world. Your focus narrows until there is nothing in the universe but that violet light and the soft pulse of the forest. Within the depths of that eye, you see the history of the forest unfolding in slow, shimmering waves. You see the birth of the first trees, the rising of the silver mist, and the eternal dance of the stars in the dark. It is a vision of a world that is always at rest, a place where the struggle of life is replaced by the grace of being. The eye is a storyteller, and the story it tells is one of eternal, unchanging calm. The muscles around your own eyes begin to relax, the tension of 1,000 daily sights melting away into the violet. Your vision becomes soft and dreamlike, the edges of the unicorn's face blurring into the surrounding silver haze. You are no longer looking at the eye, you are falling into it, a slow-motion descent into a sea of lavender light. The gaze is a vacuum of peace, drawing out the last flickers of your mental static. The unicorn lets out a soft, low sigh, a sound that vibrates through its muzzle and into the air between you. The sound is a final punctuation to the silence, a gentle yes to the state of rest you have achieved. It is the sound of a mountain settling into the earth, of a wave receding from a sandy shore. You feel the sigh in your own chest, a sympathetic release of the very last breath of effort. There is a wisdom in this gaze that is older than the stones of the forest, an intelligence that does not need logic or language. It is the wisdom of the sleep, the knowledge of how to let go and trust in the darkness of the night. The eye is teaching you how to close your own eyes, how to surrender the light
for the deeper peace of the dream. You are a student of the ancient, and the lesson is almost complete. The violet light begins to pulse with a slow, hypnotic rhythm, matching the beating of the unicorn's heart. With every pulse, the world becomes a little dimmer, a little softer, and a little further away. You feel a heavy, comfortable drowsiness spreading from your forehead down through your entire body. The gaze is a bridge, and you are halfway across, moving toward the far shore of sleep. You realize that the unicorn has seen this many times before, guiding weary souls into the heart of the ether. You are not alone in your journey. You are being watched over by a witness who never tires and never leaves. The eye is a lighthouse in the fog of the mind, a steady beam that guides you home to the stillness. You are safe under the watch of the ancient, and the night is kind. Allow your gaze to soften one last time, letting the violet and the gold blend into a single hazy glow. The eye is closing now, or perhaps it is yours that are finally starting to drift shut. It doesn't matter, for the connection is made and the peace is anchored in your soul. The gaze of the ancient is the final light you need before the dark.
The unicorn moves an inch closer, a tiny shift of its weight that brings its velvet muzzle into contact with your open palm. The sensation is a sudden, soft revelation, a texture so refined it feels like the intersection of silk, suede, and cool air. Its skin is warm and incredibly thin, stretched over a delicate framework of bone and muscle that feels as fragile as a bird's wing. The touch is so light it is almost a phantom, a whisper of a sensation that lingers on your skin like a memory. As your hand rests against the creature, you feel the softest of hairs, finer than the down of a dandelion or the fuzz on a peach. These hairs tingle against your palm, carrying a faint electrical charge of pure, concentrated magic. It is a cooling sensation, like the feeling of mountain mist settling on your skin after a long, hot day. The muzzle is firm yet yielding, a physical reality that anchors you to the magic of the moment. A gentle, damp breath puffs from the unicorn's nostrils, a slow and rhythmic exhale that warms your fingers. The breath is moist and clean, smelling of sweet wild clover, ancient moss, and the first light of a spring dawn. It is a fragrance that bypasses the mind and speaks directly to the body, triggering an instinctive sense of nourishment. Every time the unicorn breathes, you feel a sympathetic rise and fall in your own heavy chest. The muzzle moves slightly, a curious and gentle exploration of your hand that feels like a slow-motion caress. It is an act of incredible trust and vulnerability, a powerful being offering its softness to a stranger. You feel a wave of gratitude wash over you, a quiet joy that makes your heart feel large and light. The touch is a bridge, a physical connection that erases the distance between the human and the mythic. The unicorn's breath is slow, far slower than any breath you have ever encountered in the waking world. You find yourself waiting for the next puff of air, counting the long, silent seconds of the pause. When it finally comes, it is a warm, moist relief that relaxes your hand and softens your wrist. The rhythm of the breath is the rhythm of the forest, a steady and life-giving pulse in the dark.
You can feel the faint vibrations of the unicorn's low internal hum through the skin of its muzzle. It is a resonant sound that travels up your arm and into your shoulder, vibrating through your collarbone. It feels like the purr of a great celestial cat, a sound of total and absolute contentment. The hum is a song of the earth, a vibration that tells you that all is well and all is at rest. The texture of the muzzle is so soothing that you find yourself wanting to sink your fingers into the softness. But you remain still, matching the stillness of the creature, respecting the delicacy of the contact. It is a moment of perfect balance, a fragile and beautiful alignment of two living things. The world outside is a frantic, noisy place, but here there is only the touch of velvet and the scent of clover. The warmth from the unicorn's breath begins to spread up your arm, melting the last of the tension in your elbow and shoulder. Your arm feels heavy and loose, supported by the presence of the magical creature and the solidity of the air. You are becoming a statue of relaxation, a part of the forest's landscape of peace. The touch is the final anchor, the last physical tie to the world of the awake. As the unicorn slowly pulls its head back, the absence of the touch leaves a lingering warmth on your palm. You hold your hand still, savoring the sensation of the velvet and the memory of the breath. The touch was a blessing, a physical seal on the peace that you have found in the silver heart. You are ready to follow the creature into the deeper valleys of the wood. The scent of clover remains, a fragrant reminder of the encounter that will stay with you into your dreams. The unicorn turns its head away, looking toward a path of blue light that has opened between the trees. You rise, or perhaps you simply drift, following the silver tail into the next chapter of the quiet. The velvet muzzle was the touch of a dream, and the dream is calling.
You walk together, you and the unicorn, into a hidden valley where the trees give way to a vast sea of giant blue ferns. These ferns are as tall as young trees, their fronds arcing over the path in long, elegant curves of sapphire and teal. They create a natural cathedral of lace-like leaves, a ribbed ceiling that filters the moonlight into a soft, underwater glow. The air in the valley is even cooler than in the forest, a crisp and refreshing chill that wakes the senses, even as it calms the mind. As you move through the ferns, they brush against your arms and legs with a sound like the rustling of fine silk. The fronds are soft and flexible, moving out of your way with a fluid, liquid grace. They feel cool and slightly damp, as if they have been dipped in the waters of the starlit pool. The color is a deep, resonant blue that feels like a balm for your tired eyes, washing away the glare of the day. The valley is a place of absolute and profound stillness, shielded from the wind by the high walls of the surrounding hills. The only sound is the rhythmic, muffled thump of the unicorn's hooves on the carpet of blue spores that covers the ground. These spores are like a fine azure dust, rising in tiny clouds with every step and then settling back into the moss. They smell of old rain and the deep, cold spaces under the earth, a grounding and ancient aroma. The blue light of the ferns is non-directional, creating a world without shadows or hard edges. Everything is softened, blurred, and turned into a dreamlike version of itself. You feel a sense of expansion in your chest,
a widening of your internal space as you walk through the azure arches. The valley is a sanctuary within a sanctuary, a place where the magic of the aether is at its most concentrated. The unicorn moves through the ferns with a quiet ease, its white coat turning a soft shade of periwinkle in the blue light. It looks like it belongs here, a creature of the azure shadows and the silver mist. You follow the sway of its tail, a rhythmic motion that keeps you grounded in the slow motion journey. Every step takes you further from the noise, further from the light, and closer to the heart of the rest. High above, the tips of the ferns touch and interlace, creating a screen that hides the stars. You are in a world of blue and green, a subterranean garden of light and silence. The scale of the ferns makes you feel small and protected, like a child tucked away in a secret fort. There is a sense of being hidden, of being completely invisible to the outside world. The spores in the air begin to glow with a faint internal light, creating a haze of blue sparks around you. They drift in the air like slow-motion fireflies, marking the path with a sequence of soft pulses. The light is hypnotic, a visual symphony of azure that lulls your brain into a deep, wordless wonder. You are walking through a cloud of peace, a fog of sapphire starlight. Your breathing has slowed even further now, matching the long, sweeping curves of the fern fronds. Inhale as you pass under an arch of blue. Exhale as you move into the open space in between. The rhythm is a slow and steady tide, a liquid movement that carries you forward without effort. Your legs feel like they are moving on their own, guided by the music of the ferns. The valley floor is a bed of blue velvet, a surface so soft it feels like you are walking on air. You feel the cushion of the spores and the moss beneath your feet, a gentle support that asks for no energy in return. The valley is a cradle, a natural vessel for the deepest and most restorative kinds of sleep. You are ready to lie down, to become a part of the blue and the still. As you reach the center of the valley, the ferns part to reveal a wide, flat clearing of white sand. The sand is as fine as flour and glows with a soft, pearly light that matches the unicorn's coat. This is the heart of the valley, the place where the silver heart of the aether beats the slowest. You are standing in the center of the dream, and the ferns are closing behind you.
From the very tips of the towering blue ferns, a fine, luminous dust begins to fall like a slow-motion rain of light. It is the essence of the unicorn's magic, a physical manifestation of the energy that keeps the valley in a state of eternal peace. The dust is made of millions of tiny, microscopic sparks that catch the moonlight and turn it into a falling curtain of glitter. It descends through the air with an incredible lightness, drifting in slow spirals and lazy zigzags toward the earth. As the glitter settles on your hair and skin, you feel a faint, cooling tingle, like the touch of a million microscopic snowflakes. Each spark carries a tiny, concentrated pulse of sleep, a minute drop of tranquility that is absorbed instantly into your body. You feel the magic moving through your skin, calming your nerves, and smoothing out the last jagged edges of your awareness. The glitter is a blanket of light, a coat of starlight that protects you from the weight of the world. The air around you becomes thick with the falling dust,
turning the clearing into a world of sparkling mist. The unicorn stands in the center of the fall, its pearly coat catching the sparks and glowing with a renewed golden intensity. It looks like a statue carved from a single massive diamond, reflecting the light of 1,000 distant suns. The glitter doesn't stick to the creature. It seems to flow over it like a liquid, a river of gold and silver light. You reach out your hand and watch as a single spark of glitter lands on your palm. It glows for a brief, beautiful moment, a tiny gold heart beating in the dark before it dissolves into your skin. The sensation is a tiny, warm relief, a localized wave of peace that relaxes your hand completely. You find yourself closing your eyes and turning your face up toward the falling light, letting it wash over you. The sound of the falling glitter is a high, thin shimmer, like the sound of glass bells ringing in a very distant wind. It is a delicate and melodic sound that fills the silence of the valley with a sweet, hypnotic music. It is a frequency that is perfectly tuned to the rhythm of a dreaming brain, a sound that encourages the mind to let go. You listen to the shimmer, letting it vibrate through the air and into your very bones. The ground around you is becoming covered in a layer of the glowing dust, turning the white sand into a field of diamonds. Every step you take leaves a glowing footprint, a path of light that marks your journey into the center of the rest. The valley is being transformed into a treasure chamber, a palace of light and silence where you are the guest of honor. You feel a sense of luxury, of being pampered by the universe with the gift of pure, unadulterated peace. The falling glitter begins to blur your vision, creating a soft, golden haze that obscures the lines of the world. The ferns, the trees, and the unicorn are all becoming shapes of light, floating in a sea of sparkling mist. This loss of visual detail is a relief, a sign that your brain is no longer needed to interpret the world. You are becoming a part of the light, a spark in the falling curtain of the ether. With every breath, you inhale the tiny sparks of sleep, letting them fill your lungs with a golden warmth. The magic is inside you now, a steady and glowing presence that is heavier than lead and lighter than air. You feel a deep and powerful urge to lie down, to let the glitter cover you completely like a blanket of snow. The earth is calling, and the glitter is the promise of a dreamless, perfect night. The unicorn lets out a soft, final whistle, a note that seems to guide the last of the glitter toward you. The fall is slowing now, the sparks becoming larger and softer as they descend. They land on your eyelids, weighing them down with a gentle golden pressure that is impossible to resist. The world is a sparkling dark, a velvet space where the only thing that remains is the shimmer. Take a final, slow breath as the last of the glitter settles around you in a circle of light. The valley is still, the ferns are silent, the unicorn is a shadow of pearl in the mist. You are covered in starlight, protected by magic, and ready for the deepest rest. The descent into the hollow of cedar is the next step on your path.
In the center of the clearing, tucked between the roots of an immense ancient tree, you find a natural bed. It is a wide, deep hollow carved into the base of a great cedar,
a space that looks as though it was grown specifically for rest. The floor of the hollow is lined with thick, fragrant strips of cedar bark, softened by time and the weight of the silver mist. On top of the bark lies a layer of down, white and airy, gathered from the prehistoric birds that nested in the canopy above. The scent of the cedar is the first thing that greets you as you step into the small, curved alcove. It is a warm, dry aroma, the smell of sun-baked wood and ancient resin that has hardened into amber. This fragrance is a natural anchor, pulling your senses away from the ethereal light and into the solid, grounding earth. It feels protective, a sturdy and reliable scent that suggests a fortress against the cold and the wind. As you lower yourself into the hollow, the bed of bark and down conforms perfectly to the shape of your body. It is a deep, encompassing support that distributes your weight so evenly you feel as though you are floating on a solid cloud. The bark is slightly warm, having absorbed the golden light of the unicorn throughout the long, silent day. You feel the heat radiating into your back, loosening the very last muscles in your shoulders and spine. The unicorn takes its position just outside the entrance of the cedar hollow, standing like a silent sentinel. Its presence creates a doorway of light, a silver threshold that separates your sleeping space from the vastness of the forest. You can see its shadow stretched across the white sand, a long and protective shape that shields you from the view of the stars. It is a guardian of your peace, a witness to the beginning of your deepest rest. The walls of the cedar hollow are smooth and polished, the wood having been rubbed to a soft sheen by the passage of ages. They curve around you like a wooden cocoon, creating a sense of total and absolute privacy. Inside this space, the sounds of the forest are even more muffled, reduced to a faint, rhythmic vibration in the air. You are tucked away in a secret room, a hidden pocket of the world where nothing can reach you. The layer of down is so light it feels like a soft pressure of air against your skin. It traps the warmth of your body, creating a microclimate of comfort that is perfectly tuned to your needs. You find your hands sinking into the white feathers, feeling their weightless texture between your fingers. The physical world is becoming a collection of soft surfaces and warm, woody smells. Looking out from your wooden nest, you see the unicorn's pearly coat shimmering in the dim blue light of the ferns. It remains perfectly motionless, its head held high, and its breath creating a slow, rhythmic mist in the air. Knowing that the creature is there, watching over the valley, allows your mind to finally surrender its last watch. You don't need to be alert anymore. The Ancient One has taken up the vigil on your behalf. The air inside the hollow is still, holding the scent of the cedar close to your face. It is a heavy, sleepy atmosphere that makes every breath feel like a deliberate act of relaxation. You are breathing in the strength of the tree and breathing out the last flickers of your daily identity. You are no longer a traveler. You are a part of the cedar, rooted and still. The shadows within the hollow are deep and velvet black, creating a restful contrast to the glowing world outside. You turn your head away from the light, pressing your cheek against the cool, smooth wood of the tree's interior. The darkness is a welcome friend, a quiet space where your eyes can finally rest and stay closed. The hollow is a cradle of wood and shadow,
holding you in a timeless embrace. Take a final, slow breath of the cedar and the down, letting the comfort saturate your spirit. The bed is ready, the guardian is in place, the forest is holding its breath for you. You are sinking into the heart of the wood, becoming a secret within a secret. The journey is slowing to a crawl, and the earth is very near.
As you lie perfectly still in the hollow of the cedar, a new sensation begins to rise from deep beneath the ground. It is a low, resonant hum, a sound so deep and vast it feels more like a physical vibration than a noise. This is the heartbeat of the aether, the rhythmic pulse of the planet, dreaming beneath the silver moss and the blue ferns. It is a steady bass note that vibrates through the roots of the cedar and into the very marrow of your bones. The hum is constant and unchanging, a frequency that has existed since the first star was reflected in the pool of stillness. It acts as a universal ground, a baseline of peace that vibrates at the same speed as a resting heart. As you listen, you feel your own pulse slowing down, trying to match the majestic tempo of the earth. The vibration moves through your heels, up your legs, and settles in the base of your skull. This sound is the ultimate lullaby, a noise that is so large it drowns out the tiny, frantic echoes of human thought. It fills the empty spaces of your mind with a solid, vibrating wall of calm. You find yourself unable to hold on to a complex sentence or a structured worry. They simply dissolve in the hum. The earth is singing to you, and the song is a heavy, rhythmic hush. The vibration has a physical weight to it, a pressure that feels like a gentle hand pressing you deeper into the down. It pins you to the bed with a kind of benevolent gravity, making it feel impossible and unnecessary to move. Your limbs feel like they are made of solid stone, heavy and cold and perfectly at rest. You are anchored to the center of the world by a thread of sound. The unicorn seems to respond to the hum, its own internal glow pulsing in time with the deep vibration of the earth's heart. The entire forest is part of this machine, a living organism that is breathing and humming in unison. You are a cell in that organism, vibrating with the same life and the same silence. The hum carries with it the memory of every quiet night the forest has ever known. It is thick with the stillness of winter snow and the heavy heat of summer twilights. As you absorb the vibration, you are absorbing the history of peace itself. Your body is a sponge, soaking up the ancient rhythmic stability of the ground. There is a warmth associated with the sound, a friction of energy that heats the air inside the cedar hollow. It feels like the purr of a massive, hidden engine, a source of power that is dedicated entirely to the act of resting. You feel a deep sense of gratitude for the earth, for the solid and unwavering support it provides. The hum is a reminder that the world is holding you, even when you are not holding on to it. Your breathing is now so slow it is almost imperceptible, a shallow drift of air in and out. You are waiting for each pulse of the earth,
letting it wash over you like a wave of dark water. The sound is becoming the only thing in your universe, a monolithic presence of calm. Everything else, the unicorn, the ferns, the mist, is just a decoration on this central truth of sound. The hum begins to soften at the edges, turning from a physical vibration into a mental haze. It is no longer something you hear with your ears. It is something you are. You are the hum. You are the vibration. You are the deep, resonant heart of the aether. The boundary between your skin and the cedar bark is disappearing into the sound. Listen to the earth as it breathes beneath you, a slow and heavy sigh that never ends. The rhythm is your master now, and it is a gentle one. The hum is the sound of the door closing on the world of the awake. You are sinking into the vibration, and the vibration is sleep.
The edges of your body are beginning to feel soft and indistinct, as if you are made of the same silver mist that hangs between the trees. The sensation of being a self, a contained and separate thing, is slowly melting away into the atmosphere of the hollow. You can no longer tell exactly where your skin ends and the soft cedar bark begins. The warmth of your blood and the warmth of the sun-drenched wood have become a single, unified temperature. This dissolving of borders is not a loss, but a vast and peaceful expansion. You are merging with the cedar, feeling the slow, heavy strength of its roots deep in the humming earth. You are merging with the down of the bed, becoming as light and as effortless as a floating feather. The weight of your limbs is no longer a burden. It is a pleasant, heavy pull that connects you to the forest floor. Gravity has changed its nature. It is no longer a force that drags you down, but a gentle hand pressing you into a hug. You feel the earth welcoming you back, inviting you to leave the surface and join the deep, quiet center. Every part of you, your hands, your feet, your heavy head, is being claimed by the stillness. You are becoming a feature of the landscape, a stone, a root, a shadow in the dark. The unicorn outside the hollow has become a blur of white light, a smudge of pearl against the velvet blue. It is no longer a separate creature, but an extension of your own sense of safety and peace. Its rhythmic breathing is your breathing. Its golden light is the warmth in your own chest. The forest has become a single living thought, and you are the dreamer of that thought. The air you breathe is no longer outside you. It is a fluid that flows through you like a water through a sponge. With every inhale, the silver heart of the aether enters your lungs. With every exhale, you return yourself to the wood. The exchange is perfect, silent, and requires absolutely no effort. You are a part of the great silver cycle of the forest, a thread in the eternal tapestry. The boundaries of time are also dissolving, the past and the future becoming meaningless concepts. There is no before this moment, and there is no after the dream. There is only the long, slow now of the cedar hollow and the humming ground. You are existing in a timeless gap, a pause between the ticks of a cosmic clock. Your thoughts have become like the falling glitter, tiny sparks of light that drift and then vanish.
They have no structure, no narrative, and no power over your calm. They are just visual interruptions in the soft, dark blankness of your mind. You watch them go with a sense of distant curiosity, letting them dissolve into the violet haze. The feeling of me is being replaced by a feeling of is. The indigo forest is. The light is. The peace is. You are floating in the pure essence of being, a state of existence that is as deep as the starlit pool. The heavy anchors of your identity have been cut, and you are drifting into the infinite blue. The world is becoming a single, muted tone, a deep, resonant indigo that is both light and dark. It is the color of the transition, the shade of the doorway between the waking world and the deep. You are standing in that doorway, feeling the cool breeze of the dream world on your face. The borders are gone, and the expansion is complete. Relax into the formless, weightless space of the cedar hollow. You are the tree, you are the unicorn, and you are the humming earth. The aether has claimed you, and you have given yourself over with a smile. The stillness is total, and the self is at rest.
A small stream of liquid light begins to flow past the entrance of your cedar hollow. It is a narrow ribbon of water that looks like melted silver, glowing with an internal pearly radiance. The stream moves with a slow, leisurely pace, winding around the roots of the trees and over the white moonstones. It does not splash or roar. It moves with a soft, liquid whisper that sounds like tiny silver bells ringing in a very distant wind. The sound is repetitive and clear, a sequence of high, delicate notes that repeat in a perfect, calming loop. It is a melodic pulse, a tinkle of glass, a soft gurgle, a moment of silence. This sound is a final cleaning of your auditory senses, a pure and crystalline vibration that washes away the last echoes of the day. The melody is so simple and so beautiful that it leaves no room for any other sound in your mind. As the silver water flows, it releases a faint, cool mist that carries the scent of frozen starlight and deep-sea caves. It is the coldest and cleanest scent in the forest, a fragrance that feels like it is made of pure, distilled peace. You breathe in the mist, and it feels like a refreshing wash for your interior spaces. Everything inside you is becoming as clear and as bright as the silver stream. You find your mind tracking the sound of the bells, letting your awareness drift along the current of the light, fading in as the water approaches, fading out as it moves behind a moss-covered root. The rhythm of the stream is the rhythm of your own drifting consciousness. You are a leaf on the surface of the silver water, being carried toward the deep ocean of sleep. The light from the stream reflects off the ceiling of the cedar hollow, creating a moving pattern of silver ripples. The ripples are slow and rhythmic, a visual echo of the sound of the bells. They dance across the wood in a hypnotic display, a silent light show that lulls you deeper into the dark. You watch the silver light move, your eyes following the curves until they can no longer stay open. The unicorn watches the stream with a quiet reverence, its horn glowing in sympathy with the silver water. The stream is the lifeblood of the ether,
the magical current that connects all things in the forest. You are now connected to that current, a part of the flow and a part of the light. The stream is taking your worries and carrying them away, far beyond the edges of the wood. The sound of the bells is becoming more and more distant, a faint and beautiful memory of sound. It is a thin silver thread that is pulling you toward the final destination. You don't need to listen closely. The sound is inside you now, a quiet music in your bones. The melody is a promise of a dream that is waiting just around the next bend. The silver water is a mirror for your soul, reflecting only the light and the stillness. It shows you a version of yourself that is clear, calm, and perfectly at rest. You accept this image, letting it become your final thought before the dark takes over. You are as clear as the water, as bright as the silver, and as quiet as the bells. The stream continues its journey, an eternal and unchanging flow of peace. It will be here when you sleep, and it will be here when you wake, a constant source of calm. But for now, it is just a song, a silver lullaby that is fading into the night. The bells are quiet, the water is light, the stream is sleep. Take a final deep breath of the silver mist and let it carry you away. The current is gentle, the water is warm, and the destination is beautiful. You are drifting on the silver stream, moving into the heart of the dream. The journey is almost at its end, and the rest is infinite.
The entire wood is breathing in unison with you now, a massive and silent lung of cedar and silver mist. You can feel the chest of the earth rising beneath your bed of bark, a slow and tectonic expansion. The trees expand their branches toward the stars, and then they contract, drawing the cool air back down to the moss. It is a tidal movement of life and stillness, a rhythmic heave that mimics the swaying of the great dark sea. Your own lungs have found the center of this great breath, moving without the slightest effort of your will. As the forest inhales, you feel a cool, minty energy filling your chest, lifting you slightly from the down. As the forest exhales, you sink back into the hollow, a heavy and comfortable release of all remaining air. Inhale the forest, exhale the world. Inhale the silence, exhale the day. The timing of the breath is impossibly slow, a long and luxurious pause between each movement of the air. You find yourself resting in the gaps between the breaths, a space where time does not exist. In these pauses, the forest holds its breath with you, creating a vacuum of absolute and perfect peace. There is no hurry for the next inhale. The air will come when the earth is ready. The sound of this collective breathing is a low, rushing sigh, like the wind moving through 1,000 silk veils. It is a soft hush that vibrates through the walls of your cedar hollow, massaging your weary mind. It is a sound that cleanses the atmosphere, blowing away the last grains of the golden glitter and the blue spores. The air is becoming pure, empty, and perfectly still. You feel a sense of profound belonging as you merge with the respiratory rhythm of the aether. You are no longer a guest in the woods. You are a part of the forest's very survival and rest. The unicorn at the entrance matches this breath as well, its white flanks moving in a slow, pearly undulation.
Everything that lives here is part of the same lung, the same heart, and the same dream. The oxygen in the air feels rich and heavy, like a liquid that you are drinking rather than breathing. It carries the essence of the ancient roots and the high silver stars into your very bloodstream. You feel your pulse slowing even further, becoming a faint and distant echo of the forest's pulse. You are a leaf on the great tree, breathing in the moonlight and breathing out the dark. The edges of the cedar hollow seem to pulse with the breath, the wood itself being flexible and alive. The space around you grows slightly larger, then snuggles back in close, a rhythmic embrace of timber. It is a living cradle, a sentient nest that knows exactly how to hold you as you drift. The forest is a mother, and her breath is the song that ensures your safety. With every exhale, you feel a little more of your physical weight being surrendered to the ground. You are emptying yourself of the need to do, the need to be, and the need to remember. The breath is a broom sweeping the floors of your mind until only the smooth, dark wood remains. You are becoming hollow, a vessel for the silence of the trees. The light in the glade dims slightly with every inhale, as if the forest is drinking in the silver glow. The world is turning a deeper shade of indigo, a color that tastes of blueberries and cold mountain water. It is a sleepy color, a shade that invites the eyes to stop searching and start resting. The light is breathing with you, a pulse of periwinkle in the dark. Take a final long and liquid breath of the silver heart of the aether. Feel the cycle completing itself, a perfect loop of energy that ends in total stillness. The forest has finished its work. It has breathed you into a state of grace. The next breath will be the first one of your dreams.
A massive pearl-colored moon begins to rise directly above the valley of the blue ferns. It is larger than any moon you have ever seen, filling the sky with a soft and shadowless light. The moon is not a cold, dead stone. It is a glowing orb of compressed mist, a celestial version of the unicorn. It washes everything in a brilliant, flat white that makes the world look like it is made of porcelain. The light from the moon is so thick it feels like a physical substance, a liquid mercury pouring from the heavens. It fills the sky from horizon to horizon, erasing the streaks of the stars and the dark blue of the night. The shadows of the trees and the ferns disappear into a soft gray haze, as if they have been bleached by the glow. The world is becoming a blank page, a clean and silent space where nothing is written. This light is a blanket of wool, warm and thick and incredibly heavy. As it falls on the cedar hollow, you feel a pressure against your skin, a weight that settles you into the down. It is a comforting weight, the kind that makes you want to curl into a ball and hide from the world. The moon is a giant eye that is slowly closing, its light a final, long look at the earth. The unicorn lifts its head toward the orb, its horn glowing with a sympathetic, pearly vibration. The two lights, the moon and the unicorn, connect in the air, creating a bridge of pure white energy. You are lying beneath this bridge, protected by the most powerful magic the aether has to offer. The light is a shield, a fortress of silver that keeps the chaos of the world at bay. The surface of the moon is smooth and featureless, a perfect circle of absolute calm. Looking at it is like looking into a mind that has no thoughts, only a vast and glowing awareness. You find your own mind reflecting this lunar blankness, becoming a mirror of the pearl. There are no shapes in your head anymore, only a soft and radiant whiteness. The silence that accompanies the moon is different from the silence of the forest. It is a cosmic silence, a soundless hum that comes from the deep spaces between the worlds. It is a white silence, a noise that contains every sound and yet produces none. It is the ultimate background, the foundation upon which all dreams are built. The blue ferns in the valley have turned to silver under the moon's gaze, their sapphire glow replaced by pearl. The world is lost in a monochromatic dream, a landscape of light where everything is the same. This lack of contrast is a relief to your senses, a final simplification of the visual world. There is nothing to distinguish, nothing to categorize, and nothing to judge. You feel a sense of rising, as if the moon's gravity is gently tugging at your spirit. You are not leaving the cedar hollow, but you are becoming lighter, floating within the light. The moon is a magnet for the soul, pulling you away from the heavy earth and toward the sky. You are a feather caught in a lunar tide, drifting toward the center of the orb. The light is becoming warmer now, a creamy and golden white that smells of milk and honey. It is a nourishing light, a glow that feeds your tired spirit and heals your weary heart. You are being bathed in the essence of the aether, a baptism of starlight and moon mist. Everything is forgiven, everything is forgotten, everything is white. The pale moon is the final gatekeeper of the night, the last great light before the deep dark. It is watching you with a maternal kindness, ensuring that your transition is soft and slow. The light is a promise of a new beginning, but for now it is a promise of rest. The moon is full, and so is your heart.
The unicorn lets out a low, melodic whistle, a sound that seems to come from the very center of its golden horn. It is a single note, held for a long, long time, without a break or a tremor in the sound. The note is pure and thin, like a silver wire stretched across the silence of the valley. It is a sound that vibrates in the air, creating ripples in the moonlight and the silver mist. The song is not a melody, it is a frequency, a vibration that is perfectly tuned to the architecture of your mind. As the note continues, you feel it entering your ears and settling in the center of your brain. It is a cooling sound, a vibration that feels like ice water flowing over a hot stone. It washes away the last flickers of mental activity, leaving only the resonance of the song. The note is constant and unchanging, a steady anchor in the shifting world of the forest. You find yourself holding on to the sound, letting it carry you through the darkening glade. It is a tether to the physical world, a thin line of silver that keeps you from drifting too fast. The song is a guide, a voice that tells you exactly where you are and where you are going. As the unicorn sings, the forest begins to vibrate in sympathy with the note. The cedar tree, the blue ferns, and the humming earth all pick up the frequency. You are lying in a world that is singing to you, a harmonic universe of a single pure sound. The vibration is in your bones, in your skin, and in the very air you breathe. The note carries you further into the dark, a boat moving across a silent and starlit lake.
With every second that the note is held, the world outside the cedar hollow moves further away. The sounds of the city, the voices of the day, and the echoes of your worries are all drowned out. There is only the unicorn's song, a monolithic wall of silver sound. The song is a lullaby for the spirit, a melody that bypasses the ears and speaks directly to the soul. It tells a story of ancient peace, of a time before the sun, when the world was only mist and stars. You are listening to the history of the ether, a song that has been sung since the beginning of time. The story is simple. You are safe, you are loved, and it is time to sleep. The unicorn's whistle begins to soften, turning from a sharp silver wire into a soft velvet ribbon. The note grows deeper and more resonant, a bass vibration that settles in your chest. It is no longer a sound you hear, it is a feeling of being held and rocked. The song is a physical presence, a warm hand on your forehead, a gentle pressure on your heart. The light from the horn pulses in time with the song, a gold and silver heartbeat in the dark. With every pulse, the note grows a little bit quieter, a little bit more distant. You find yourself leaning into the sound, trying to catch the last echoes as they fade. The song is a bridge, and you are almost at the other side. The final moments of the song are so quiet, they are almost a part of the silence itself. It is a ghost of a note, a memory of a sound that lingers in the air like a sweet scent. You wait for the sound to stop, but it never truly does. It just becomes the background of the night. The unicorn has finished its song, and the valley is quiet once more. The silence that follows the song is the deepest silence you have ever known. It is a silence that is filled with the resonance of the note, a vibrating peace. The song has prepared you for the dark, and the dark is now a welcome friend. The unicorn is silent, the moon is still, and the song is you.
From the shadows of the valley, petals from the lunar roses begin to drift down upon the cedar hollow. These roses bloom only under the light of the pearl moon, their blossoms as large as a human hand. The petals are heavy, moist, and cool to the touch, falling through the air with a slow and erratic grace. They are a deep velvet indigo, a color so dark it is almost black, yet they shimmer with a silver dew. One by one, the petals land on the moss around you, creating a soft and fragrant wall of silence. They settle on your blanket of down, their weight so slight it feels like a gentle, floral kiss. The scent of the roses is a heavy, sleepy aroma, a mix of old wine, damp earth, and cold spice. It is a fragrance that anchors you to the ground, a scent that is both rich and profoundly calming. The falling petals are a visual clock, marking the final minutes of the waking world. You watch them descend, tracking their slow spirals through the silver mist and the gold light. Each petal that lands is a second that has passed, a moment of peace that has been recorded by the forest. The world is being covered in a layer of indigo velvet, a floral shroud for the day. The texture of the petals is unlike anything else in the forest, thicker than silk, softer than moss.
As they touch your skin, they release a tiny drop of moisture that feels like a cooling balm. It is a refreshing sensation that prepares you for the warmth of the deep dream. You are being pampered by the flowers, groomed for the night by the lunar roses. The unicorn moves among the falling petals, its white coat catching the indigo shadows. It looks like it is walking through a dark rain, a shower of floral stars. The petals do not stick to its pearly skin, but glide off and join the lair on the ground. The creature is the center of the storm, the steady point around which the roses fall. The sound of the falling roses is a soft, wet thump, a sound that is barely a sound at all. It is a rhythmic punctuation to the silence, a heartbeat made of flowers. You listen to the falling roses, letting the repetition of the sound lull you into a deeper state of rest. The world is being muffled, the jagged edges of the environment being smoothed over by the indigo pile. The layer of petals on the ground is growing thicker, burying the white sand and the blue spores. The valley is being transformed into a bed of roses, a sanctuary of scent and softness. You feel a sense of intense luxury, of being held in the most beautiful and quiet place in the universe. The roses are a gift from the aether, a floral tribute to your journey into the dark. The air is becoming thick with the scent of the roses, a heavy perfume that makes your head feel light. It is a scent that encourages the mind to stop thinking and start dreaming. You find yourself inhaling the indigo fragrance, letting it fill your lungs with a sleepy warmth. The world is a rose, and you are resting in its heart. The fall of the petals is slowing down now, the roses having given up their last blossoms to the night. The air is clear once more, but the world below is changed, covered in a velvet indigo carpet. The silence is now absolute, the fragrance a constant and comforting presence. The roses have done their work. They have buried the day in a blanket of flowers. Take a final, slow breath of the lunar roses before you let the darkness take you. The scent is a memory of beauty, a fragrance that will follow you into your sleep. The petals are soft, the ground is deep, and the night is fragrant. The valley is a garden of rest, and you are the only one awake.
The light from the unicorn's horn begins to fade, turning from a bright, radiant gold to a soft, dim amber. It is a slow and deliberate transition, a gradual withdrawal of the magical energy from the air. The silver mist that has filled the glade begins to thin, revealing the deep velvet shadows of the trees. The forest is retreating into a comforting gloom, a space where shapes are no longer clear. The world is losing its sharp lines and its brilliant colors, blurring into a soft gray-blue haze. The emerald moss is now a dark, featureless shadow. The blue ferns are ghosts of sapphire in the dark. This loss of visual detail is a relief, a signal to your brain that it is no longer needed to interpret the world. The visual landscape is being erased, leaving only the textures and the sounds. The amber light from the horn creates a small circle of warmth around the entrance of your hollow. It is a dim and flickering glow,
like the last embers of a dying fire in a dark room. You find your eyes drawn to this final point of light, watching as it pulses with a slow, dying heartbeat. The light is a promise of rest, a beacon that is guiding you into the center of the dark. The unicorn itself is becoming a shadow, its pearly coat turning to a dull, matte gray. It is no longer a creature of light, but a creature of the night, a silent guardian in the gloom. Its presence is still felt, a solid and heavy warmth in the air, but its image is fading. The unicorn is dissolving into the forest, becoming a part of the darkness it protects. The air in the glade feels thicker and more still, as if the light was the only thing keeping it moving. The silence is now a physical weight, a pressure that pushes you deeper into the cedar bark. You feel a sense of profound isolation, but it is a safe and chosen isolation. You are the only thing that exists in this small, amber-lit room of the world. The dimming glow makes your eyelids feel impossibly heavy, a weight that is impossible to resist. Every time you blink, it becomes harder to open your eyes again to see the fading light. The amber spark is becoming a tiny dot in the center of your vision, a distant star in a black sky. You are ready to let the dot vanish, to let the darkness be total. The shapes of the trees are now just vertical lines of a deeper black against a navy sky. The world is a sketch, a minimal representation of the place you have been traveling. The details of the bark, the leaves, and the petals are gone, replaced by a soft and uniform gloom. The complexity of the forest has been simplified into a single, quiet thought. The amber light pulses one last time, a soft and warm good night from the heart of the aether, and then it fades into a dull brownish glow, and finally it vanishes altogether. The glade is now dark, lit only by the faint, indirect light of the moon through the canopy. The darkness is a soft and velvet curtain drawn across the stage of your journey. You are lying in a world that is perfectly, beautifully dark. There are no more glows, no more glitters, and no more sparks. The visual journey is over. The eyes have finished their work for the night. The darkness is not empty, it is full of the peace you have gathered along the path. Relax into the blackness, letting it wash over you like a warm, dark sea. The forest is still there, the unicorn is still there, but they are now parts of your internal world. The external world has been turned off, and the internal world is beginning to wake. The glow is gone, and the sleep is here.
Your eyelids have become two heavy stones, sinking slowly into the deep, dark water of your mind. The effort required to lift them even a fraction of an inch is more than you can possibly muster. They are weighted with the gold of the unicorn's horn and the silver of the falling glitter. It is so much easier, so much more natural to simply let them close and stay closed. Behind your closed lids, the world is a soft and pulsing violet, a color that has no source and no edge. It is a rhythmic light, a slow-motion heartbeat that pulses in the center of the dark. This violet glow is the last remnant of the unicorn's gaze, a lingering memory of the ancient eye. It is a hypnotic pulse that guides you deeper into the internal landscape of the dream.
The pressure on your eyes is a gentle and persistent hand pushing you down into the mattress of the stars. It is a physical sensation of surrender, a final letting go of the visual world. You are no longer looking at the forest, you are feeling the forest through the darkness. The shapes of the trees are now just feelings of height. The moss is a feeling of softness. The violet light begins to fade, turning into a deep, resonant indigo, and then into a blacker black. The internal screen of your mind is being cleared, the images dissolving into a soft, velvet blankness. There is no more light to see, no more patterns to track, and no more colors to name. The mind is becoming as dark and as still as the pool of stillness. You feel a sense of profound relief in the darkness, a freedom from the need to observe. The world is still there, but it no longer requires your attention or your witness. You are tucked away in the private theater of your own sleep, and the curtain is down. The darkness is a shield, a barrier that protects the delicate work of the dreaming brain. The weight of your eyelids is spreading to the rest of your face, softening your brow and your jaw. Your cheeks feel heavy and loose. Your lips are parted in a shallow, rhythmic breath. Your entire head is a heavy weight, supported by the cedar bark and the white down. You are a statue of rest, a monument to the power of the dark. The darkness is not a void, it is a substance, a thick and warm fluid that you are floating in. It fills your ears, your mouth, and your mind, erasing the boundaries of your physical self. You are a point of awareness in a vast, dark ocean, drifting without a compass or a destination. The ocean is kind, the water is warm, and the direction is down. Occasionally, a tiny spark of silver will flicker in the dark, a ghost of the falling glitter. But it is a distant and unimportant thing, a spark that vanishes before you can even think about it. The darkness is too vast and too beautiful to be interrupted by the light. You are a citizen of the night now, a dweller in the silver heart's deep center. The heaviness is a comfort, a physical assurance that you are not going anywhere. You are anchored to the bed, anchored to the earth, and anchored to the sleep. The world of the awake is a thin and noisy dream that happened a long time ago. The real world is this darkness, this weight, and this silence. Let the stones sink deeper into the water, letting the ripples fade until the surface is flat. There is nothing left to see and nothing left to do but drift. The eyelids are closed, the dark is total, and the rest is beginning. Deep, deep sleep, deep, deep peace.
The feeling of walking along the velvet moss path is now just a distant and fading hum in your muscles. The rhythmic thump pause of the unicorn's hooves is a ghost of a sound, a pulse at the edge of hearing. Your legs are perfectly still, their weight absorbed by the cedar hollow and the humming earth. The journey you took through the mist and the ferns is now just a collection of soft, sensory memories. You remember the feeling of the cool air on your face, but it is a memory that has no temperature. You remember the scent of the lilies and the roses, but it is a fragrance that has no smell. The physical sensations are being converted into symbolic shapes, the building blocks of dreams. The forest is no longer a place you are in.
It is a place you are becoming. The motion of the swaying canopy is still with you, but it is now an internal swaying. Your mind is rocking back and forth in a slow, hypnotic cradle of its own making. The motion is detached from the trees and the wind. It is a pure rhythm of the spirit. You are floating in a boat that has no oars and no shore, moved by a current of pure calm. Your hands are open and soft on the down, the memory of the velvet muzzle, a faint tingle in your palm. The touch was a bridge that you have already crossed, and the bridge has dissolved behind you. There is no more contact with the world, only the contact with the self and the dark. You are a closed system, a circle of peace that is complete and unbroken. The memory of the silver stream and its tinkling bells is a melody that plays on a loop in your head, but the notes are becoming blurred, the silver turning into a soft and uniform drone. The music is losing its structure, becoming a part of the white silence of the pale moon. The song is a vibration that is slowly fading into the background of the night. The destination you were seeking, the heart of the aether, is no longer ahead of you. You are standing in its center, and the center is a point of absolute stillness. The journey was a way to slow the world down until it stopped, and the world has stopped. The destination is not a place, it is a state of being, and you are there. The memories of the light, the gold, the emerald, the indigo, are all merging into a single gray haze. It is the color of the mist at the gateway, the neutral shade of a mind that is at rest. The colors have done their work of soothing your senses, and now they can go. The world is a blank canvas once more, waiting for the first brushstrokes of the dream. You feel a sense of profound accomplishment, the quiet joy of a task that is perfectly finished. The task was to let go, and you have let go of everything but the breath. The memory of motion is the last tie to the world of the awake, and the tie is fraying. You are a balloon that has been released into a dark and silent sky. The stillness is a vast open ocean, and you are a single drop of water in the deep. There is no direction, no distance, and no time in the heart of the ocean. There is only the pressure of the water and the silence of the abyss. You are sinking into the memory of the forest, and the forest is sleep. Let the last echoes of the journey fade away into the humming of the earth. The path is gone, the trees are gone, the unicorn is a shadow in the mist. The only thing that remains is the stillness, and the stillness is you. Rest now, for the journey is over.
You are no longer lying on the earth, but on a soft and white cloud of unicorn down that has lifted from the bed. The cedar hollow and the ancient tree are falling away beneath you, becoming small and distant shapes in the dark. You are drifting through the same silver mist that greeted you at the gateway of the forest. But now the mist is not a barrier, it is a soft and supportive medium that carries you through the air. The sensation is one of total weightlessness, a freedom from the gravity of the earth and the weight of the body. You are a cloud moving through a cloud, a ghost of silver light in a world of pearl. The air is cool and thin, moving past you with a slow and effortless grace. There is no wind, only the motion of your own spirit as it drifts toward the center of the night. The cloud of down is warm and soft, a nest that is perfectly shaped to your invisible form. It holds you with a gentle and unwavering support, a maternal embrace that asks for nothing. You feel a sense of profound safety, a realization that you are being carried by the magic of the ether. The cloud is a vessel, a ship of sleep that is sailing across the sky of the dream. As you drift, you see the pale moon hanging in the dark blue void, a constant and glowing companion. The light from the moon is now a part of you, a silver radiance that fills your heart and mind. You are a spark of the moon, a tiny piece of the celestial light that has been given wings. The world below, the ferns, the pool, the roses, is now just a memory of beauty. The silver mist is thick and silent, a world of soft glows and blurred edges. You move through it with a slow and rhythmic undulation, a pulse of light in the dark. The mist is a blanket that covers the world, a veil that hides the secrets of the ether. You are a secret within the mist, a quiet thought in the mind of the forest. The feeling is one of sinking and floating at the same time, a paradox of pure peace. You are sinking into the deep dark blue of the sky, and you are floating on the white down of the cloud. The two motions are one and the same, a single direction that leads toward the center of the rest. The world is a circle, and you are moving toward the point at the very middle. The unicorn is no longer a creature you see, but a feeling of presence that guides your flight. Its golden light is the warmth in your chest. Its rhythmic breath is the motion of the cloud. You are the unicorn, and the unicorn is you, a single being made of light and sleep. The borders of the self have been erased by the mist and the down. There is no sound here, not even the hum of the earth or the song of the bells. The silence is absolute and perfect, a white silence that is the foundation of the dream. It is a space where the mind can finally stop its search and simply be. The silence is a gift, a treasure that you have earned at the end of the path. You are drifting through the infinite, a vast and silent space that has no end and no beginning. The cloud of down is your home, your bed, and your sanctuary. You are ready to let the mist take you, to let the cloud dissolve into the silver heart. The destination is here, and the destination is sleep. Floating, sinking, drifting, rest. The world is a memory. The dream is the truth. The cloud is your soul, and the soul is at peace. Deep, deep sleep, infinite, eternal peace.
One last spark of light dances before your mind, a tiny golden grain of the unicorn's magic. It is the smallest thing in the universe, a pinprick of radiance in the center of the vast, dark sky. The spark is small, warm, and perfectly quiet, a single beat of a heart that is almost at rest. It pulses with a slow and rhythmic glow, a final hush from the silver heart of the aether. You watch the spark with a sense of distant and peaceful curiosity, letting it hold your final gaze. It is a friendly light, a tiny companion that has stayed with you until the very edge of the sleep. The spark is a symbol of the beauty you have seen, a concentrated drop of the forest's soul.
It is a promise that the light will be there when you wake, but for now, it is a guide to the dark. The spark blinks once, a slow and soft expansion of gold light that fills your mind. It feels like a warm hand on your heart, a final reassurance that you are safe and loved. The world is a small and glowing point, a single truth of peace in the middle of the infinite. The blink is a long and luxurious second, a moment that lasts for an eternity. The spark blinks twice, a dimming of the gold, a softening of the edges of the light. The world is retreating into the distance, a small and beautiful dream that is almost over. The silence is becoming deeper, the darkness more total, and the weight more comfortable. The second blink is a final letting go, a surrender of the last flicker of awareness. And then the spark begins to fade, its gold turning to a soft amber, then to a dull brown. It grows smaller and smaller, a tiny dot that is slowly being swallowed by the velvet black. You don't try to hold on to the light, you let it go with a smile and a sigh. The spark has done its work. It has led you to the doorway, and the door is open. The light is now just a ghost, a memory of a spark that lingers for a fraction of a second. And then it slowly goes out, leaving only the dark and the silence. The final point of focus is gone, and the mind is a blank and beautiful space. The internal world is now as dark and as quiet as the external would. There is no more you to watch the spark, and no more spark to be watched. The observer and the observed have merged into a single, unified state of rest. The darkness is not a lack of light, it is the presence of a deeper and more powerful calm. The spark was the final word of the story, and the story is finished. The darkness is warm, heavy, and full of the scent of the cedar and the roses. It is a living dark, a space that is vibrating with the deep, resonant hum of the earth. You are sinking into the mattress of the void, supported by the arms of the ancient. The spark was the key, and the lock has turned. Relax into the absolute blankness of the night, letting the last echoes of the light fade. The world is gone, the forest is gone, the unicorn is a dream of the past. There is only the peace, and the peace is infinite. The final spark has vanished, and the sleep has arrived.
There is only the silence now, a deep, velvet, and eternal peace that fills every corner of the universe. It is a silence that has no source and no end, a monolithic presence of absolute and perfect rest. The unicorns are sleeping in the glade, the blue ferns are still, and the silver mist has settled on the ground. The forest is a single quiet thought that has finally come to its conclusion. The hum of the earth has become a silent vibration, a pulse that you feel only in the deepest part of your soul. It is the rhythm of the planet as it turns through the starlight, a majestic and unchanging tempo. You are a part of that turn, a part of that pulse, and a part of that eternal silence. Everything is balanced, everything is still, and everything is at peace. The darkness is a soft and heavy blanket tucked in around the edges of your infinite mind. It is a space of pure potential, a blank page upon which the dreams of the ether will be written. But for now, there are no dreams,
only the vast and beautiful emptiness of the deep sleep. The mind is a mirror that reflects only the silence, a pool that holds only the dark. You are no longer a traveler. You are the destination itself. You are the silver heart of the ether, the center of the world where the rest is absolute. There is no more I, no more you, and no more now. There is only the is, the pure essence of being that exists beyond the reach of time. The unicorn is a shadow of pearl in the mist, a guardian whose vigil is now part of the night. Its kindness is the warmth you feel. Its wisdom is the silence you hear. The Ancient One has led you home, and you are finally where you belong. The journey is over, and the rest is forever. The air is still, the water is still, the earth is still. The stars are dim embers in the deep, and the moon is a memory of light. The world of the awake is a distant and forgotten dream, a flicker of light in a long-ago night. The real world is this hush, this dark, and this eternal peace. Sleep is not a state you are in, it is a state you are. You are the sleep. You are the peace. You are the silver heart. The silence is a hand on your forehead, a whisper in your ear, a weight on your heart. It is the final hush of the universe, the last word of the ancient song. Relax into the infinite, letting the silence claim every last atom of your being. There is nothing left to hold on to, and nothing left to let go of. You are home, you are safe, and you are profoundly, beautifully asleep. The journey is finished. The rest is absolute. Sleep, sleep, sleep.